So when he went to Philly, I was a little surprised. Wasn't surprised about the contract, but just surprised that he went to Philly, especially after they just got Jaylen Brown. That's the thing that really kind of surprised me.
And I think his time in LA was definitely up. And, they got one championship in 8 years. So, they keep talking about he's going to get a statue. I don't know for what, but, it is what it is.
Former Lakers head coach Byron Scott didn't sugarcoat a thing when talking about LeBron James leaving Los Angeles for Philadelphia. Scott admitted the 76ers might give LeBron a serious shot at chasing another championship, but he also dropped a major reality check. Having a stacked roster on paper guarantees absolutely nothing. And when someone with Scott's basketball experience starts questioning whether a superstar-heavy squad can actually put it all together, the conversation gets spicy fast.
On paper don't mean a whole lot. It means you got talent. That's about all it means. It doesn't mean it or guarantee that
you go win the championship. The Sixers might look scary, but looking unbeatable and actually winning 4 playoff rounds are 2 completely different things. So, did LeBron make the right call by joining the Philadelphia 76ers, or did he just place another massive bet on a super team that could come up short? Drop your take in the comments, because this move is open.
What was your first reaction of LeBron signing in Philadelphia?
Wow. I mean, that was my first reaction. I was surprised. And not because of the contract. I mean, first of all, he got about $1 billion.
Yeah.
So we know
$85 million off the court.
Yeah. So
annually.
We know that wasn't, the thing that was going to be the deciding factor of where he was going. He has enough money, so it's all about trying to.
LeBron signed with Philadelphia. Some basketball fans have been acting like the Sixers can already start measuring the walls for another championship banner. Analysts have hyped them as major favorites, while social media has been flooded with predictions about a finals run before this new-look team has even proved what it can do together. Some fans have even connected this move to the never-ending GOAT debate. But Scott pumped the brakes on all that hype with one basic reminder. Basketball games aren't won on a roster sheet.
I was still feeling pretty good about that. So when he went to Philly, I was a little surprised. Wasn't surprised about the contract, but just surprised that he went to Philly, especially after they just got Jaylen Brown. That's the thing that really kind of surprised me.
My first reaction was, I told y'all.
Scott also admitted there was one part of LeBron's decision that genuinely surprised him, and it wasn't the contract. In Scott's view, money wasn't going to decide LeBron's next destination because LeBron has already built enormous financial success, both on and off the court. That meant, from Scott's perspective, this decision came down to basketball. What caught him off guard was Philadelphia becoming LeBron's destination, especially with the organization already putting together another roster packed with major names. On paper, the setup looks why. But Scott wasn't about to crown Philadelphia before the team had even gone through the grind of a real season together.
And I think his time in LA was definitely up. And, they got one championship in 8 years, so... they keep talking about he's going to get a statue. I don't know for what, but, it is what it is. That's where he's at now. He's in Philadelphia. And, I think that was the best out of all the teams, to be honest with you.
He challenged one of the biggest narratives surrounding LeBron's move. For weeks, plenty of people had treated Philadelphia like an automatic path toward another ring. But Scott wasn't buying that logic. His point was straightforward. Talent means talent, nothing more. It doesn't automatically create chemistry. It doesn't guarantee sacrifice. It doesn't mean stars will happily take fewer shots of smaller roles. And it definitely doesn't mean somebody is walking away with the champion.
As we do know and remember, Kobe being Bryant, he shoot it with 3 people on him. Kobe's like, look, I don't care. I feel more comfortable with me shooting it than passing it to one of y'all shooting it with 3 people on me, right? Yeah. That's that alpha mentality that he had. LeBron's not like that. LeBron's going to hit the open guy. So when we talk about the teams that he could have fit with, I don't think there's a team that he wouldn't fit in with. And especially at this point in time in his career where he just wants to win. He's not caring about stats. He got every damn stat there is right now in the NBA.
Yeah.
It's all about
Not even reached into NBA history to make his case, bringing up the 2003-4 Lakers. That squad featured Kobe Bryant, Shaquille O'Neal, Karl Malone, Gary Payton, and Derek Fisher. Just reading those names made that roster look ridiculous on paper. A lot of people expected those Lakers to steamroll through the league and finish the job with another championship. Instead, they met the Detroit Pistons in the NBA Finals, and Detroit flipped the entire script. The Pistons played together, trusted their system, defended at an elite level, and attacked the Lakers' weaknesses. Detroit won the series, delivering one of the clearest reminders in NBA history. that collecting famous names isn't the same thing as building a championship team. And Scott didn't bring up that example for no reason. His message was aimed directly at the hype surrounding Philadelphia. The Sixers may have assembled one of the most talented groups in basketball, but NBA history is packed with reminders that super teams can crash just as dramatically as they can dominate. Sooner or later, every contender gets tested. Losing streaks happen. Playoff pressure hits differently. Players can get frustrated over touches, minutes, shots, or responsibilities. That's when chemistry stops being a buzzword and starts becoming the difference between surviving and falling apart. Until Philadelphia goes through those moments, nobody really knows how this experiment will work. Big names can get people talking, but pressure reveals whether everybody is truly willing to play their part. Scott then shifted toward LeBron's Lakers chapter and made another comment that grabbed attention. He argued that LeBron's run in Los Angeles had simply reached its natural ending after 8 seasons and 1 championship. But Scott didn't stop there. He also questioned the chatter about LeBron potentially getting a Lakers statue someday, joking that he wasn't even sure what the statue would be for. That comment quickly gave basketball fans something else to argue about. And that statue debate cut straight into the bigger argument over LeBron's Lakers legacy. Some fans believe winning a championship during an incredibly unusual and difficult season was enough to secure his place among the franchise's greats. Others see it differently. They argue that 1 championship across 8 seasons doesn't put LeBron in the same Lakers category as franchise icon, whose teams created dynasty and collected multiple banners. Either way, Scott clearly isn't handing out automatic praise just because LeBron joined another loaded roster. Philadelphia has the names, the star power, and massive expectations. But now comes the hard part, proving all that talent can actually function when the pressure gets serious. From there, the conversation moved to an even bigger question. Was Philadelphia actually LeBron's best basketball fit? Other destinations had reportedly been discussed, including Golden State, Miami, and Cleveland. But Byron Scott didn't seem convinced that any of those options gave LeBron a better situation. Golden State came with some serious question marks. Scott wondered whether the Warriors' aging core could realistically survive another long season and make a championship run. The names might still carry weight, but reputation alone doesn't beat younger, deeper teams in a brutal Western Conference. Miami presented a completely different issue. Scott questioned how the spacing would work in the front court with LeBron in the mix. When several players want to operate in similar areas, the floor can get crowded fast, and that can turn a talented offense into an awkward one. Then there was Cleveland, the city LeBron has already returned to once before. Scott simply didn't believe LeBron had much interest in going back for a 3rd stint, making Philadelphia look like the more realistic move among the choices being discussed. But here's where Scott gave LeBron major credit. He argued that LeBron could probably fit almost anywhere because one of his greatest strengths has always been his ability to make the players around him better. Throughout his career, LeBron has actually taken heat for making what many coaches would call the correct basketball play. If a teammate is wide open and LeBron is surrounded by defenders, he'll often make the pass instead of forcing some wild contested shot, just because he's the superstar.